What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. I'm Sean Woodland, joined by Lauren Khalil. Lauren, how are you?
I am fantastic.
Fantastic.
I am getting ready. Yeah, because you know what? In about a week, I am going to be in warm weather without snow. So I'm happy.
There you go. Congratulations. And, of course, featuring Tommy Marquez. Tommy, how are you?
I am good. I am caffeinated and not well rested. So.
How's the dad brain today?
It's good. I'll be honest. But despite that, we had a banner day in the Marquez household as far as excursions out of the house, testing those waters. So
okay,
yeah.
What'd you do?
We went out. We went up to Santa Cruz and we spent the day. Like wife and I both had appointments and just like pretty much spent the entire day out.
Mm-hmm. Was Miles with you?
Yes, he was. Miles got to meet friends.
Nice.
Meet some friends. It was in a variety of other environments. He's a performer, man. He gets around other people. He said he's like all sweet and calm and giggly and like I was like, you dog. Mm-hmm. You dog.
That's what they do. Oh, mm-hmm. I wish my baby was like this. And you're like, he's not like this all the time. He's a demon-born hellspawn sometimes. But in front of you he's this little angelic cherub.
You know? This kid's a liar.
Exactly. He's a filthy human being. Don't believe anything he tells you or does. Well, I'm glad you guys had a day out. Congratulations. It's been the weather's been pretty nice over here. So, you know,
it's been beautiful.
Sunny and 60 degrees. So, you know.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
It's been great. Okay, we have a lot to talk about today. We are going to take the back half of the show and focus on the team division at Wodapalooza that's coming up here soon, kind of the unofficial kickoff of the season, but we're going to talk about the teams because I think that's always been the hallmark of the Wodapalooza Miami competition, that 3-person team competition. So we're really looking forward to diving into that and going to do that a little bit differently. Got a lot to talk about as far as news is concerned. You know, we got open registration. We know where the games are going to be. We have locations for World Fitness Project events. We have rulebook stuff to talk about. So all kinds of juicy little tidbits to chew on here. But before we do that, we want to thank our main sponsor for today, and that is Reebok. And of course, the Nano X5 is coming out soon, January 24th. It's the 15th iteration. Tommy, I was thinking about this. I still remember the first one. That yellow one that they were selling in Carson, and I thought it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen, that someone would actually make a shoe dedicated to CrossFit. And here we are in the 15th iteration. The Nano X5 is the most comfortable, breathable, and stable Nano yet. Have you guys tried them out yet?
Oh, yeah. I've looked online and
I haven't had a chance yet. Are they? Okay, I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where every time they make a new one, I think they could never be better. Like they should just retire now and just leave them as is. And every year they somehow, at least for me, have gotten better and I enjoy them more.
I should try them next because I still have my ones. I saved them.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have mine. I got some.
Those should go in a shoe case as like a historical reference to something.
Remember the 5s they made with the American flag sole and the blue? I have both versions still in the shoebox. Haven't worn them.
Wow.
You know, you never know. But
15.
I know, it's crazy.
The Nano can almost drive.
Yeah, it's built on it can get its permit on a new dual response EVA foam platform combined with a new comfort collar system. The Nano X5 provides 360 degrees of comfort and stability. And if you are going to be in Miami for Wodapalooza, you could possibly score yourself a free pair of Nano X5s. Lauren, how can the good people out there do that?
Oh, yes. You might be wondering. And last year, you saw us host a little happy hour before Wodapalooza began. Well, this time we're like, we're going to extend the party and really end the celebration at the close of competition. After the award ceremony. We are all going to go to Sola, Miami for a nice little happy hour, and 20 pairs of the new Nano X5 will be given away along with some fun merch. There's going to be fun cocktails. It's going to be a time, and you don't want to miss that.
And if you go up to Lauren and use the code word Shooter McGavin, she is contractually obligated to take a shot with you. A shot of your choosing. You get to pick.
Oh man.
Oh man, because I
it's
didn't drink last year because I'm like, okay, this is the beginning to the kickoff. I gotta behave. But now, like, we might put some vodka into the Shirley Temple at the end of the weekend.
So
who knows?
Here's what you do. Okay, this is what I think people should do. Go up to Lauren, say Shooter McGavin if you're at the happy hour. Take a shot with her and put it on social media. Like tag us and let's see how many videos of Lauren doing shots we can get.
A tally counter
on social media.
I never said no to a good bet.
There you go. It's not a bet. It's just let's just see what we can do here. Make sure you get that on social media, and make sure you check out the new Nano X5 January 24th. Like I said, free pair on the line at happy hour at Wodapalooza. So check it out. Okay, let's get into what we want to talk about today. Well, it's official. The CrossFit Games are being held in Albany, New York. Now we've had regionals there in the past. I have never been to Albany. I know that this news got greeted, had mixed reactions.
Beautiful upstate New York.
Albany, New York is not. Like I said, never been. But this is what I will say. I remember when Madison, Wisconsin got announced, and it was kind of a And I remember going in 2017 because we had an open announcement there, going to the Alliant Energy Center when it was empty, and walking around that place going, how are we going to do this? How are they going to pull this off? The arena was a little bit outdated. It was a empty parking lot and some corrals for livestock shows. And I think that turned out pretty well. I'm not kidding you. Like, that's all it was. And it turned out great. The city embraced it. I think one cool thing about Madison is that it was small enough to where, like, you knew the games were going on. Restaurants had special menus. There were billboards. There was stuff at hotels. That's stuff that you did not get at Carson outside of the main hotel that we had in the Marriott there. Once you got outside of that, you had no idea unless you went to Chipotle after the games one night and you had, 40 athletes out the door because it was the only place open to eat. So never been to Albany, don't know what it's like, but for those of you who are like, just give it a chance. All right, let's just see what happens here, because this arena I think it's newer. It's got a 15,000 seating capacity, which is in line with what they had in Fort Worth, a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Lauren, you're a New Yorker. Tell us about beautiful Albany.
I'm 2 hours from Albany.
Ooh, Albany, got it.
Yes, Albany. Good old Albany, New York. So here's the thing. I'm going to give some tidbits. So first of all, as much as I shit on living in Syracuse, New York, the one time that you would want to come to this region of the world would be either summer or fall. So in August, it actually is quite nice. It's a little bit humid here. It can be, but nothing compared to, we were in Texas last year. Like, this isn't Florida humidity or Texas humidity. So the weather will actually probably be pretty nice. Albany, there isn't a ton to do. If people are coming and looking for things to do outside of the games, Saratoga Springs, where they have horse races, is only about 30 minutes from there.
So you go.
That is something you absolutely should do before or after. So you'll have to look at the schedule. There's also, they're not too far from the Finger Lakes. There's some really beautiful hiking. It's a nice time of year. Like I said, I'm 2 hours from there. So if anybody wants to come check out Syracuse, New York first, let me know.
You couldn't even say that with a straight face.
That's like, yeah.
Let me know if that's your journey. I could take you to some really good places to eat, get a good workout in. Again, we can go paddleboarding, kayaking. It's a great time. For people who are looking to get a one-way, or not a one-way.
Did the tourism board pay you for this little spot?
A one-way ticket. What are you going to kill them?
I'm sorry, not a one-way flight. Not. I was going to say a nonstop flight. You ain't going to get that, even though it's an international airport.
Because they have one connector that goes to Canada.
Yes, you hear the drama that I talk about living out of Syracuse. The Syracuse airport, no different than the Albany airport. You're going to have a connection somewhere. If you're coming from Europe, a lot of your connections will probably be in Washington, D.C., also LaGuardia, JFK, Newark. Honestly, like if you're a games athlete or somebody who's coming for an extended stay, it might even be a better idea to fly into Boston, stay there, and then rent a car and drive about 4 hours. That might be a better option.
4 hours from Boston.
Okay.
About 4 hours from Boston, give or take. Maybe a little shorter.
Let me ask you this. So is there anywhere that comes to mind, top of your mind, knowing that area, where you could have like an offsite outdoor event? Because again, I know nothing about Albany.
I don't know it that well. I used to do dance competitions in Albany, like in the city area, and I can't think top of mind. But again, it's Albany might be similar to Madison in the sense that there are a lot of hiking trails and things to do outside. So I could see that as a potential option. But I don't know it well enough to know like, oh, there's this county park 10 minutes from the venue or something like that.
Well, we'll see, Go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, this one kind of caught me by surprise, but it was kind of known that they weren't going to go back to Fort Worth after everything that transpired. So it's just, I don't know. It's tough to get to. And like you said, the athletes are going to have an interesting time prepping. I mean, the temperature, I assume, is pretty enjoyable at that point.
High 70s,
Perfect.
Maybe mid 80s on like a hotter day.
Easy.
It's all over the news. If it were to get to 90, it's like stay indoors. It's so hot. So you don't really need to worry about that.
Send out the gumshoe reporter to fry an egg on your dashboard, like all the local stations.
Done that before.
I know you have. Everyone's done that.
I've sat inside a car with a temperature gauge.
Yep, this is how hot it is. Did they make you do it like throughout the newscast? Let's check back in with Lauren Khalil live in her Nissan Jetta. She's been there for 15 minutes. God. Lauren, what's the temperature? Right? That's what they do.
That was me.
Yeah, I know. That's what they do, and that is riveting local television.
Good times.
Anyway, you're going to find something wrong with wherever they have it, right? Yeah. Whether let's just see. I don't know if this is a multi-year deal. I have no clue. But that wasn't one where I went, oh man, it was,
Yeah.
I'm driving, so I'm going to show up with more bags than normal.
You're going to rent a U-Haul.
I might drive up in a U-Haul.
I mean, it's just hard not to draw comparisons to the other places, though. Like, Madison, we may have been like, this kind of stinks,
but turned out well. Like I thought it turned out well overall.
But there were elements of Madison as a town that
college town
led you to believe that it was going to be good, right? Like anyone we had talked to is like, oh, Madison is an awesome city in the summer. Yeah. And it has a great, like the Capitol Square is a great like downtown area. It's super outdoorsy. Like there's a lot to do there. And,
the downtown area is not like Madison and Albany. I can tell you that.
Well, look, Madison gave us the most.
Siena is there, and that's like a good college or university.
All right, but Madison gave us like the most iconic offsite event in the Capitol. Like I don't know how you're going to beat that as far as an offsite event goes, and who knows if they're even going to do them in Albany.
And there's infrastructure there for the university in Madison because they also host games where 100,000+ people come in for football games at Camp Randall every other weekend. So there was some stuff there. I just don't know. Like I don't know enough about Albany as a city, and the handful of people that I've talked to are just kind of like, meh. Yeah, it's a place,
I feel like I kind of felt like the equivalent was if it was coming to California, because obviously Tommy and I know a lot more about cities in California. It's like the 2025 CrossFit Games coming to Stockton.
You're like,
well, it's close to some stuff. Anyway.
The best chicken quesadilla of my life was in Albany.
All right, well there you go.
So there's that.
Come for the fitness.
Pack it up, boys. We're done here.
Stay for the quesadilla.
It was in some Irish pub right downtown. So
and wait, you had a quesadilla at an Irish pub?
That's
I
a sentence
did, yeah.
I don't think has ever been uttered in the history of humankind. That's like there's a Reddit thread I think called "That's a New Sentence."
That is a new sentence.
I had the best quesadilla of my life at an Irish pub in Albany, New York.
It was made by a Romanian guy. Like what? All right. Well, enough about Albany. We've got a lot to do before we even get there, but we will see what they have planned. Here's one thing that happened: open registration live. People can start signing up now for the Worldwide Open, and that's going to kind of lead us into the next thing that we wanted to talk about. I believe, if I'm reading my card here correctly, yes, that the rule book also got released. Now there's a lot in there. There's a lot of talk about grips and things that have been banned. If you're a competitor or anybody, please just read it and know what the rules are, because you don't want to be disqualified for something stupid like you had the wrong grips on or something like that. Outlines all the new ways to qualify, the new season structure, in-person things. But one thing that's getting the most attention is the way that the prize money is going to work here. And now the way I understand it is that prize money is tied, and this is throughout the entirety of the season, is tied to open registration. And our good friend Mike Halpin and company over at the Morning Chalk Up, they're going to have an article coming out soon, kind of breaking down, different scenarios of what positions and what competitions get paid what amount based on registration. So first thing, how many do we have? We had a little more than 400,000, 300,000 last year. Was it three?
Yeah, about
366.
Okay, so not bad.
342,000 and change last year.
Okay.
Do you think there is any chance they match or exceed that number in 2025?
My gut says no chance.
Okay, so what best case scenario? What 300,000?
Yeah,
that's the
best
number
case scenario. Best case scenario for me, just kind of thinking about the temperature of the room and just where it seems the general sentiment of the sport regarding to CrossFit's ability to shepherd that. 2022's number of 293. If they're in that ballpark, maybe touching 3, I would imagine they would be stoked.
Yeah. Well,
it would be a year-over-year drop of like just under 13%.
Mm-hmm.
And to have someone die in your sport,
mm-hmm.
and and have the fiscal impact in the biggest earning opportunity touch point of your season be minus 13% and be in line with where you were just a couple of years ago, I think the bean counters would be pretty happy for that.
I think they would sign up for that right now. If you said 300,000 people, they'd be like, "Where do I sign?" I'll take it.
And I just think that's optimistic.
Okay. Well, let's just use that let's be optimistic. Best case scenario, 300,000 people. That means that, like as you said, Tommy, that'd be about a 13% decrease from last year. And again, this is all going to be out in the article that the Morning Chalk Up is going to have. And Mike Halpin did some really cool work here that they were nice enough to share with us before it goes out. So let's start with the Open. So that would mean that for the individuals, the total prize purse for the Open would be $150,000, right? Because you're getting your total Open revenue with 300,000 people would be $6 million, and then they split that. CrossFit LLC takes 3, and then the prize pool gets 3. So they split that. So you got the individuals. The prize purse would be $100,000. Am I reading that right? Or did someone just change it? No, someone just changed it.
Somebody just changed it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
I didn't.
Sorry.
My apologies.
Are you the blobfish? Anonymous blobfish?
It'd be $150,000. I'm like, did I read that wrong all of a sudden? So here's the good news. If you're someone at the top of the sport and you win 25.1, first place, $6,200, $6,250, which is that's more than traditionally they've given out to first place.
It's almost, yeah. It's
right?
like,
because it used to be based on year.
2.8 times whatever,
Second would get 3,700, 3,750, and then third would get 2,500. All right. So if you're at the top and you win an event in the open, you got a nice little payday. All right. So then we go to online semifinals, where the total prize purse this is again based on 300,000 people signing up for the open and all paying $90,000 for online semifinals. So first place would get $11,250. Second would get $5,400. Third, $4,950. Fourth, $4,500. Fifth, $4,050. And you'd pay out all the way down to 11th place, and 11th would get $1,350. Right?
Yeah. So as it stands right now, didn't Dave say in one of his weekend reviews that everyone who qualified was going to get paid out
for the open?
For semifinals. But does
he mean qualified for the I think he means qualified for the games, right?
Well, I want to say he said something about there's going to be a semifinals payout for the in-affiliate semifinal for everyone that qualifies from there. And based on the payout structure and the amount of events that they have qualifying for people in person, that's not necessarily true unless they're like hiding another event that we haven't talked about.
That's the speculation because that there might be another in-person qualifying event, which would then mean that 1 through 11 in online semifinals that's all your qualifying spots. So that could be the case.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you mention the podium overall total for the open as well?
And I was going to go back to that.
Yeah.
So sorry, I jumped ahead. Let's go back to, so overall, after 3 weeks, top people in the open, if you finish first place overall, men and women, $18,750. Not bad. That's pretty good. Plus the money that you're going to win for winning an event, right? Second place is $11,250 and third is $7,500. So hopefully everybody's following there. Then we get to the games, because the in-person semifinals, that's all up to the events themselves, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So then we get to the games. And based on 300,000 people signing up for the open, first place doesn't change a whole lot based on what we used to have. I think it's like right around 375,000 and change for the first place at the games. First place now would make $367,000 at $1,500. Okay. So still, that's a good payday for if you win. Second goes to $73,500 and third is $58,800. And they pay out all the way down to 20th. So 21st through 30th, nothing. Okay. So there is a scenario in which, you qualify like through, let's say you go to an in-person semifinal, you didn't qualify through online, but you qualify in person and then you finish 21st at the games, you're not getting paid a dime. So it looks to me like, looking at these numbers, and again, this will be out on the morning chalk up, that they have focused the prize money that they do have towards the top of the standings. And it's the middle that has been hollowed out a little bit. Still getting paid, but not what it used to be.
Yeah, while there are some positives from this in terms of money being spread around at other areas of the season, that we just mentioned with the Open, I think what ultimately it costs in terms of being able to give people earning opportunities at the game, which is the highest point of our sport, that's where I think it's kind of a miss, right? If you win the Open, worldwide for men or women, you earn more money from that than the 7th place finisher at the games.
Well, they did, Dave did say the Open's going to matter again.
That it matters as far as what qualifying. It shouldn't matter more financially for them, the 7th fittest person on earth. Like, that's silly. You're going to tell me that someone that went through the entire season process, qualified at multiple stages, jumped through multiple hoops, and then showed up at the ultimate test of fitness and performed, within the top fraction of a percent, was in the top 7 worldwide in their sport, potentially for someone who hits home runs in the online in-person format, is going to earn more than them for 3 workouts.
Fair. Yeah, I see where you're going. That's a good point.
I mean, it's like Jonakowski won the Open last year, didn't make the games. I mean, granted, he's a perennial games athlete, so he has proven himself in that regard. But he walked just from that prize money alone. He walked away with more than what Ricky Garrard earned at the games last year.
You're basing that on this year. Like if we applied this year's standards to last year.
Yes. That seems off a little bit. Now, my hope is that they kind of balance that out a little bit. My biggest thing is how did we get to this spot where the payouts being what they are, CrossFit determined that. There are more earning opportunities. That's cool. The person who wins is going to see a significant financial windfall, which is cool. You're the best. You should get that. But for me, I have issues that are a couple layers behind that in terms of like what brought us to this point, right? Because ultimately now it is tasked with the community to fund the prize purse, this prize purse structure as it exists. And why and how did we get here? Well, one, because traditionally the prize purse is funded by the title sponsor. And as far as we know, there isn't one, and there probably isn't going to be one at the level that we're used to. And so CrossFit then passed the buck to everybody else. And that is a byproduct of their own inability to be a good partner with someone at the level that makes the title sponsorship attractive. Right. And that issue also extends just like you could even extrapolate that out to the switching of cities, right? And having going to Albany. The analogy I would use is like, your hometown bar, that there's that one person that like goes around trying to pick up on everybody. And at some point you run out of options. You run out of options of people you're trying to pick up, right? Over. Yep. And finally, like nobody wants you anymore. And so it's like, I don't know if this community funded prize purse is a long-term sign of success. Right. Is that indicative of proper management of the sport and something that's going to be successful long-term?
It's a really interesting question. I mean, and it's something I've thought about too, is just the lack of a title sponsor. And so let's just say like they did have a title sponsor this year. Should they be using what does the open money then get used for? Like, does it get used for any prize purse money whatsoever, or are we now funding other things?
And to double down on that, right? Whereas the open registration used to go entirely to the overall budget of the sports season. A significant portion of that, 50% of that, is now going to the prize purse that was covered. So where is that money coming from that's getting pulled back in other avenues, right? Well,
they're not funding any events and semifinals. I mean, that's a huge savings. They're not paying for any of that.
Yeah. So, to the tune of, $6 million if there's 300,000 people or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like this is a mad dash to like plug holes in the hole,
Yeah, but there is also an argument to be made that this is the most sustainable way, because their expenses are based on what they bring in, and they're not going to exceed that.
That was the theory back in 2019, and right when all the cuts happened, everyone was told, and we were told, that they're making cuts because they want to make the games more cost efficient. And then CrossFit spent more money than they ever had on a season than in years past.
Lauren, you got anything to add to that? Like, you have any feelings about this? And we kind
of the open being tied to registration, and this could be me
purse being tied to registration,
or the prize purses. Yes. This could absolutely be me projecting how I was brought up, but it reminds me a lot of Catholic guilt.
Okay.
It's like, that is the gut reaction that I get, just because it's like, I want to see these athletes succeed. I want to see more money in their pockets. I want to see them get a big payday. So it's one of those things that in my mind, like if I'm on the fence of signing up for the open or not, and I'm like, I'm feeling bad or guilty that if I sit here and say The athletes should be paid more. The athletes should be professionalized and treated like in all of these ways. But then I don't sign up for it just makes me feel like Catholic guilt if I don't do it. And
but the children, think of the children.
Yeah.
10%. Don't forget your tithings.
That's hard for me. And even when I look at like the breakdown based on this great article that Mike Halpin's contributing to for Morning Chalk Up, I'm okay with more money being towards the top. And I'm even somewhat okay with the middle. The thing that bothers me is 21 through 30. You are considered a CrossFit Games athlete and you're going to be in the red between all the expenses, the registration, and you're not going to make anything to be a CrossFit Games athlete. The past 2 years when they finally started paying everybody out, that was such a win that the athletes, managers, media, coaches were getting behind and like, wow, look, this is a great instance of growth for the sport from CrossFit. From CrossFit LLC. And now to go back to not pay all of your athletes, it's unfortunate. It seems like a step back. And I know a lot of things have happened. There's a lot of variables that play a part, and not having a title sponsor is part of that equation. But it just, man, you went to the CrossFit Games and competed and got that far and you're losing money.
Well, it also makes it difficult for being an athlete and pursuing the title of fittest on earth sustainable for a long time unless you become elite very, very quickly, right? And most, other sports that have some semblance of professionalism and want to be able to be successful long term, you have to make it viable for people to stay in the sport, to develop and grow, because not everyone's going to be that phenom that gets to that spot immediately.
Yeah.
We've been lucky that we get to see these some of these athletes shot out of a cannon in some ways, but that's not always going to be the case. There are going to be the people that slowly work their way up. Like it reminds me in many ways of how the UFC was, in its early stages. UFC pay is still a hot topic of discussion for some, but most fighters on the roster now earn significantly more across the board than what they did. Whereas before it was like, do you have a title belt? If not, you're getting paid peanuts, and it's going to be really hard for you to make to live and become a fighter. And is that a good way to keep the talent pool refreshed to be able to make this sport happen long term? And once the financials of the UFC getting its TV deals and everything like that getting bigger, it was able to start supporting that and putting that money down. If you lose the middle and bottom and it becomes a rotating door, then does that really genuinely support the pursuit of finding the fittest, right? If people that could potentially contend or develop into that or actually push the ball forward from a development standpoint in the sport can't stick around long enough to see the fruits of their labor, or they have to take other jobs and do other things that would otherwise prevent them from focusing on maximizing their potential. Like both of those, I think, inhibit the ultimate purity of trying to find the fittest, to some extent. It's not the biggest thing, but it does. I do think it makes some issues potentially much bigger in the long term, and that's just tough to see, right? Because we know athletes across the board that are perennially 10th to 20th, and on any given competition, any given day, they're one of the fittest people on the planet. But they can't feed their families on this pursuit that requires so much. And, part of that's like pie in the sky type stuff, right? It's like, but we do want this to become something that's more than just like a hobby, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think just put a bow on it. This system is more sustainable because they're not going to outspend what they're bringing in. You would hope. We hope. We hope. Fingers crossed. And there are other opportunities out there for athletes to make money, which is a segue into the next thing we want to talk about, and that is the World Fitness Project. We talked about them last week, and I think it was like the very next day, they went ahead and released their events and their dates. So their first event is going to be May 9th through 11th. It's going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana. Their second event will be August 29th through 31st. So that'll be after the games. It will be in Mesa, Arizona, in Phoenix. That's going to be warm. And then in December, late December 18th through the 21st, Copenhagen, Denmark. And those are the finals. So there are opportunities here for athletes to make money. There's only really one event that interferes with the game season. Everything else is after. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I really like, and I think this is a lesson that has been learned by, I think a lot of people after watching the semifinals the past couple of years that take place over in Europe and the Rogue Invitational, is that if you want a good, energetic crowd, you're going to get it over in Europe just because they don't have the opportunities to see these athletes that we have in North America. And I think you saw it on display in the semifinals the past couple of years. Like those were by far the best crowds. And you saw it at the Rogue Invitational. That was a fantastic atmosphere. And I think these event organizers are learning that, hey, there's something over there that we need to tap into. So I give the World Fitness Project credit for looking at Denmark and being like, let's go overseas and have our final event. Because that's not, going outside your borders in your first season is not easy to do. So credit to them for swinging for the fences on that one, because I think that's a smart move. And of course, you got World in your name. That was a lot of things we heard from people. Like, we got World in your name. You can't just have events in North America. Well, they're not. They're not only having events outside North America, they're having their championship in Europe, and I think it's a great move. Yeah,
I think I mentioned this in our Q&A last week, but the locations make a lot of sense in terms of scaling, right? In like the Phoenix, Mesa, Scottsdale, greater area, there's it's a massive area now, but that is a left justified as far as like North America event, right? In a place that the organizers, I know the people involved, I know are very familiar with like hosting events there. There's a more right justified spot in Indianapolis in North America that's northern as well compared to the more southern location in Phoenix. In Indianapolis is both cities are incredibly easy to get to. Indianapolis host of the NFL Combine. They have a cool convention center and infrastructure there downtown to be able to host those athletes. And then Copenhagen, where like the early years of the Europe Regional, Baller Up Super Arena in Copenhagen. That was where like the Europe region. Yeah, that's where I bet you haven't heard that arena name in a while.
I'm just seeing pictures of Mads Jacobsen and Rory McKernan at the same time.
Too much handsome in one photo.
I know, right?
And realistically, the only, like you said, the only conflict is the French Throwdown, which is that same weekend in May. But that's not the French Throwdown, at least as it stands, doesn't have any regional restrictions. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you're necessarily taking one off the table that's exclusive to European athletes. So, with the thought that, there are a handful of other events like Wadland Fest, which is in Spain. I don't think there's one for the Mayhem Classic. I can't remember if they've stated that yet. And Far East Throwdown, there's still other opportunities to qualify. So, and realistically, you look at the roster for World Fitness Project. Let me see one.
Well, there's 30 people in each event. You got the 20 signed athletes plus the 10, qualifiers. Mm-hmm. I love that number. I think 30 is a great number for a competition.
Yeah. There's it was like 6 or 7, 8, maybe 8 tops once all the announcements are done. As far as like the athletes that are in Europe that would be eyeing those events more particularly. Yeah. So it's cool. I haven't seen an announcement from them yet that's been like, don't love that, or it seems like they're not pulling driver off the tee box that's over water into a narrow fairway. They're pulling the trusty 7-iron and they're pitching them straight.
Keep it on the fairway. Just go for par, and that's to start out. Don't get over your skis. Just show you can pull this off.
Yeah.
All great locations.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I think. And I did not expect, to be honest with you, I did not expect to have the finals overseas. And I think that's a great move. I really do. Like, I think that crowd over there is fantastic.
And also because of the timing, right? It gives them more time throughout the year to develop that event.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. It's almost a year from now.
Be cold though.
So-
That's the one
Wow,
thing.
that's
It's gonna be
crazy
chilly.
to think about that.
December in Denmark. Ice skate to the venue.
Ooh, go to a Christmas market.
That'd be fun.
I was just gonna say it's gonna be really pretty with a lot of Christmas markets and trees and decorations and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Think about all the stuff you get you get the full World Fair, right? You go to Phoenix, you get you get the Sonoran like cuisine
Mhm.
right there, like just north of the border. You go to Indianapolis, go to St. Elmo's, get some of that spicy shrimp cocktail and a steak.
Yeah. Maybe Lauren can find a good quesadilla in Denmark.
I'm gonna put it on the list.
Yeah.
Go to whatever they eat in Denmark.
When in Denmark.
Yep.
In a quesadilla.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. We have one more sponsor that we want to thank before we get into our full blown Wodapalooza preview, and that is Thirdzy and their rest and recovery collagen. That is the best stuff out there. If you guys are looking to, up your sleep game, improve your recovery, it has all kinds of great ingredients in it. It's got GABA, L-theanine, magnesium that helps you calm your central nervous system, helps you get to sleep faster, stay asleep longer, and it's just tastes great. It's going to improve your sleep game. Like Tommy knows, you just don't get enough sleep anymore. Like you just don't have the hours in the day. You're up when the kid's up. You don't have a choice. You're doing your thing. You want to maximize the amount of time that you have and the effectiveness of that time when you're sleeping. And Thirdzy will help you do that. I love it. I swear by it. Like I'm between 5 and 6 hours a night, but I get up and I feel really good. I really do. I have enough energy to last me the whole day. I don't really get to 3 p.m. Like Tommy knows, he's seen me in those meetings. Every now and then I might get a little bit of one, but I really don't. And it's great stuff. It tastes great. You take it at night. If you're on the road and you don't sleep well in hotels, this will help that. Thirdzy's fantastic. You can go to thirdzy.com/TEF, and that's Thirdzy with a Z. You're going to save 20% right off the top. You're going to improve your sleep and your recovery, and you're going to support a fantastic product made by really good people. That's the most important thing. We like to support good people with great products, and Thirdzy allows us to do that, and they've been fantastic partners, and we really love working with them.
And bless my wife now, because when I come in to swap out from the night shift with our boy, there's a little glass for my dedicated sleep window. There's a little glass of Thirdzy just waiting there.
Nice.
That's perfect.
All right.
Just shotgun it. And
there you go. Thirdzy.com/TEF, and you will save 20%. All right. Let's get in now to the main thing we want to talk about, and that is Wodapalooza. Wodapalooza Miami coming up, not this weekend, but next. And it is always a great time. They have a new venue, going to be right there on the beach, kind of going to mirror what they had at Wodapalooza SoCal, which was a fantastic setting right there on the beach. That was a lot of fun. But the one thing that has become that I think really helped put Wodapalooza on the map, and Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong here, but weren't they one of the first, if not the first competition to have that 3-person team division? Because this was back when, they started that, I think, back when it was still 6-person teams in the affiliate cup. Mm-hmm. They're like, no, we're just going to do 3.
Yeah.
And now they're doing the individuals and the teams different days so that people can compete in both. So that we're going to just have some fun with the team division here, because there's some really cool teams out there to watch. And Lauren's going to be on site.
Oh yeah.
Lauren's going to be on site. So that'll be good. But we've got Tommy came up with some, I think, creative categories for us to preview these teams.
Yeah. We'll have some fun, right? Like the team competition, ultimately the results don't matter that much. It's an opportunity to compete, see a lot of elite combinations and stuff, have some fun. So I kind of thought to myself, what would be some fun superlatives, a la your high school yearbook, to kind of throw at some of these team athletes and the combos that we're going to see? Because who doesn't love a Canadian PB&J?
They were very well dressed. I mean, they embraced the Canada. Mm-hmm. They were. I mean, the only thing they were lacking was just covering themselves in maple syrup.
I mean, there's the French Go-Wad team a couple of years ago. They came out with the striped shirts and baguettes.
Yeah, just lean into the stereotypes, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man.
All right. Well,
so yeah.
So we got a lot, there's a lot of great teams here. If you go to Wodapalooza's Instagram page, I mean, they have all the rosters there, but we mentioned I think one of the most fun teams is going to be Jason Hopper, Jeff Adler, and Patrick Vellner. Just can we please mic that team up? Just mic them up.
If you haven't been following them on social media,
here we go. I got to call this out.
Yes, please pull up this post. They went to a hockey game in, I believe, Montreal.
Yeah. So this is them. And the mascot they're with is Metal. Now, I believe, he's retired, but he's the unofficial mascot of the Montreal Canadiens. When I saw that first, I'm like, my God, what happened to Lucas Parker?
Oh, God.
And then I realized that was the mascot.
Lucas Parker with frostbite.
Yeah. But look at this. Just shirtless, doing curls with a mascot, and cameras are going off.
Photo shoot with this guy.
Now, Lauren, you were saying that Adler got on the Jumbotron?
He was on the Jumbotron, and the ice, because it's not floor, the ice reporter interviewed him and had him doing shirtless pull-ups. I'm pretty sure there was a pull-up bar and he was doing shirtless pull-ups. Maybe I made that part up. I don't remember. But there was a lot of content from them at the hockey game. And yeah, Adler had himself a moment.
There you go. With Jeff Adler. He was not the guy I would expect that behavior from. Hopper, I would. Adler, not so much. But glad they're having fun. And the competition hasn't even started yet. So yeah, go check out those guys' Instagram accounts because they're full of content just like that. They're going to be fun to watch. But so our first category in our Wodapalooza teams is who do you think is going to be who's the best dressed?
They got a lot to live up to, with the cutoff sleeve. Yep. And the baguettes.
And this is men or women?
Yeah. There's off the first crack, I think we're going to get a sneaky best dressed. I don't know. Anytime I see Nick Matthew and I'm thinking crop tops.
Oh yeah.
That usually comes to mind. He's on a team with Brandon Shipper and Alex Catullus. It's really who's going to get outside of their comfort zone, and like Sam Dancer showing up in a banana hammock. Like that's the effort that it's gonna take.
Yeah, I think so.
To win best dressed.
Okay.
You know what? Yeah, because there's some teams that I want to save for some of the other ones.
Okay.
I'm kind of going, there's so many teams and there's some fun ones.
Yeah, there are. What about, you know what? Let me throw this team that seems to be a staple here. Olsen, Smith, and Mayer.
The boys, yeah, they kind of have to.
Don't you feel like they got to bring the fits?
I don't know, Lauren. You got any fit? You're outfit of the day gal.
I am, and you know what? I know that I probably want to use Hopper, Vellner, and Adler for something else, but I feel like because Fikowski historically organized the fits, that he might be chirping in their ear, and maybe he is their manager for Wodapalooza and organizing outfits per event. So they would have good guidance from him.
The women don't seem to get as crazy with it, right?
I mean, the women always match and they have really good color schemes going on. Like, I forget what team I interviewed last year, but they had different sponsors, but were still able to match the color palettes based on the outfits from whatever brand they were representing, which takes a lot of thought and matching of colors. And I appreciate that.
I think I got it. I think the team of Annika Greer, Amy Kringle, and Jessie Smith is going to be best dressed because they're going to do some fun stuff with the hair. Jessie Smith does some of the cool braids.
You're right.
Annika will probably have purple or a dye. They're going to get Amy Kringle out of her shell a little bit. And they're going to have some fun with that, especially because Jessie's going to want to chirp Chandler for being looking a little bit more.
Oh yeah, they're going to try to outswag each other.
Okay.
Yep.
Also, I do want to give a shout out to Brittany from Braid Bar. She will be on site at Wodapalooza. And if she does these incredible braids that can have tinsel in them, that can have color in them. So even if you're a spectator or media like myself, you can still have your hair looking really fresh to death. I know that Sean would love that.
Sean had to step back.
He did.
He's like,
thanks for leaving me out of that. Where's my opportunity? They're gonna have someone to paint my bald head.
You can put a wig on and have that braided. Right. That would look great.
Okay.
Grow a beard. We can braid that.
You know who I could see? Okay, I could see Justin Medeiros leaning into that. Mullet, braid that mullet.
Braid the mullet. Braid the mullet. Do it for us.
All right. So I like that, Tommy. That's a good one. So next one is, this is a good one. Most likely to be late due to a sponsor obligation.
This is like the always late, a superlative.
Like
my wife got voted most likely to be late to your own wedding.
My God, you two are a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I know.
Literally.
We're perfect for each other.
I know, right?
Oh, God.
Let's see. Wait, I'm looking to. So I think, you know who I think it's going to be?
Who?
The Wells sisters and Haley Adams.
Ooh,
yeah.
Just because of the fan demand around those three to take pictures and interact. Like, I could see that getting a little out of hand.
That's a really good one.
That's a good one. Or I had Kyra Milligan, Danny Spiegel, and Olivia Kerstetter.
That could be
so. I have them for another one on this list. Yeah, yeah, I get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about men? What?
That's where I think
that's
Noah
hard for this one.
That's where I kind of feel like Noah and Chandler would be, just because anytime Noah does like people line up to chat with him.
Yep.
And he will chat.
And Travis Mayer's gonna be the one who's got to drag him out of it, right?
Yeah.
Come on. He's the responsible one. He's
got 4 kids in tow, so he's like,
come on, I get this every day at home. Noah, let's go. I need you to
we're on the move.
Take some responsibility here. Okay. I like that.
I like those answers.
I'll go with that. I have no idea on this one. Tom, you're gonna have to take the lead. This is your category. Most likely to get no reps due to dancing. So explain this.
This is like the most fun one. Like there's always and this is what I remember. One of the things that caught my eye during Wodapalooza back in the day is that like the music was blasting and like their athletes were actually like grooving and like having a good time out on the floor. And like you see them cheesing and stuff like that. And there's usually the superlative, like the most fun, or the most personable, whatever it is. And like, there's going to be an athlete, jokingly, of course, that's going to be like really into the music and enjoying it. And then it's their turn to tap in and then they mess up the first rep or they trip over. They don't go below parallel or whatever it is. So that's kind of like someone who's going to get lost in the music in the moment a little bit.
Team with Fee.
Who's that?
That's a great one.
Who?
Yeah, Fee.
Fee Sagafi's team.
Fee Sagafi. Right. So she's on a team with Linda Kiesman and Elisa Fuliano. And I think that she could probably get them to join into her dance party. I mean, Fee can get anybody to join into a dance party or smile.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What about...
She's just a happy-go-lucky person.
Well, what about on the men's side? What about Guy Mayeros, Jorge Fernandez, and Saxon Pancho?
Oh, yeah.
Good call, Sean. I like that.
Guy giving a little bit of swag, just a little bounce to him.
Mayeros, you're up. Oh. Yeah.
Oh. Exactly.
I could totally see that. All right. Those are good.
Hilarious.
Good answer. Good
answer. Now this is a little more serious. Okay. This is most likely. Yeah, I'm going to pop this in here so we can show it. This is most likely to win 3 events and not podium.
And not podium. Oof, that's tough.
Oh, that's a different one, I think.
I got this from here. I think we should still do it.
What? The not podium?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No,
this is like most dramatic.
Yeah, most dramatic.
Most dramatic.
I always think of this one because one of my best friends got voted most dramatic, and he was so pissed about it.
You're proving our point.
Ooh. So yeah, let's think of the team that's just going to go up and down all of, like, they'll win events and then might have a blow up. Man.
Oof. I mean, look, I just mentioned it, but Mayeros, Fernandez, and Panchik. I don't know. Just Guy is one giant fast twitch muscle, but if he's got
it's a tough one. I also want to think about. I also think of like the athletes who have so many different skill sets, right? That are very unique and different. And the dramatic thing is like, here or there. That's not here or there, but it's more just like, where do the team that we see seesaw like jumping all over the place, right?
What about Rolf Lowen and Gazan?
I actually think they'd be pretty good together.
That's an interesting team. They're pretty well rounded.
It is.
They are pretty well rounded. Yeah,
they got everything on that team. This place has got everything.
I think they're going to do really well. I'm also looking at the daughters, but I don't necessarily know that the result would be not podium.
That's a hard one.
I can definitely see the daughters kind of fitting that because they're just going to knock a few out of the. And here's why. And I think we should clarify this because they're going to knock some ones out of the park. But Katrin is retired. Sarah has transitioned. Has a bunch of other stuff going on in her life professionally as well. Like Annie with motherhood and all that stuff. Like it doesn't seem like the pure pursuit of being the absolute fittest is their sole focus. So I think that you could see like maybe some gaps in the training and prep, at least at this stage. And it's their first off, I am stoked for this team.
I'm so excited for this team.
That might be the team I'm most excited to see take the floor. And
I never thought we would see this.
It's fantastic.
Well,
this is why this competition is so cool, because you have the opportunity to see that, right?
I guess it definitely fits as most dramatic as if you're most excited to see that team go on the floor, there we go. Right?
Yeah, it's dramatic anyway that you cut that cookie.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. I've fixed my graphic skills here. Most talkative or the most likely to trash talk while they're ahead.
Oh, I mean, okay.
I think it's going to be Hopper, Adler.
Yeah, that's where I had them penciled
versus Justin, Dallin, and Willie. I think those two teams will be trash talking each other if the lanes work out.
You're exactly right.
And they should. They need to be thinking about who's in the lanes next to each other right freaking now.
Yeah. That you get those two together, it's just like matter and antimatter. They're just going to annihilate each other. just talk trash. But Adler can chirp, Vellner can chirp. It's in their Canadian blood. Hopper can talk trash. Oh yeah, and if they've got Dallin and that team in their rearview mirror or anywhere near them, oh god, get the parabolic mic, or just better yet, mic those guys up.
Yeah, get it fired.
And
up.
Justin's getting more comfortable with some of that too. He recently did a YouTube episode
that was hilarious.
I think with Dallin and Vellner. I didn't watch the whole episode. I just saw the clip on Instagram, but I thought it was really funny. Him and Hopper going back and forth and kind of shit talking each other and what the perception was before they got to know each other, and then how Justin heard a clip of Hopper and he was like, wait, he gave him shade or something, but anyways, I digress.
That's good. No, that was very entertaining, and we've always said
it was
that interaction, that trash talking between athletes, the stuff that they say in the interviews where they kind of take shots at each other. Fantastic. I think it's all in good fun too, which is nice. But all right, next one. This is most famous or most likely to show up in the Buttery Bros vlog. I mean, amazing. I got to go on the men's side. I got to go with the Chandler, Noah, Travis team, just because I feel like that's going to be a fun combination.
I kind of felt like, that's tough. I felt like this is where potentially Kyra and Danny and Olivia could pop in.
Ooh, I like that.
They would be cheesing and goofing the whole time and having a good time. That's a good contender for it. Whereas I had these.
We got to have the Buttery Bros back on the show sometime.
We do.
We haven't talked to them in a while, man. They're always a good time. It's fun, dude.
100%.
And with Julian. Julian kind of gets left out sometimes whenever we interview them. Like, we gotta have Julian. Like, we've got the whole shebang on. Let's set that up.
The whole shebang.
Get that going. Live primetime episode, us and the Buttery Bros. Just no show structure.
I love it.
Just swapping stories.
That could be fun.
It'd be really fun.
I'm trying to think who else on the guys would do that in a good way. Like, so maybe someone we haven't talked about.
In the Buttery Bros.
I mean, I think we named it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know if there's any sleepers there or.
Yeah, because who's like a sneaky funny person?
Sneaky funny? Oh man,
Jeff Adler.
Yeah, I think he's.
We've talked. We've given them there's that one person you can't give them all the superlatives, you know.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, okay, we're taking it away from you. Funny.
That's tough. I think on the women's side they can have that one for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I like that one. Okay, this next one is most athletic or most likely to win any other sport other than CrossFit.
I got a sneaky one for the women.
All right.
Let's hear it.
I think Lucy Campbell, Jennifer Muir, and Taylor Howe.
Yep.
I like that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Are some just athletic savages, and I think they would crush. I also think like Emma Tall, Emily Lundberg, and Lena Richter would be a good one.
Yeah. Rolf Lowen and Gazan.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
What about for the men?
Because Gazan was a very good lacrosse player. Yeah.
Man,
you got some athleticism there.
What about? I might go with Medeiros, Pepper, and George. I mean, Justin Medeiros, former wrestler. Didn't Pepper play football?
He did. He played Spanish Fork High School, I believe. He was one of the few athletes that like the teenage athletes actually wanted to like stick out and finish their senior year playing football. I mean, going back to the trash talk real quick, most talkative, I do think Gazan and Ariel Lowen and Emily Rolfe, if we're just thinking of talkative, could fit in that.
Yeah.
But
I just feel like Ariel Lowen's so nice that she wouldn't talk trash.
But she would say something like, "Oh, bless your heart."
That's a good point.
That is.
You're like, "Grr."
Oh, bless your heart.
Oh, bless her heart. Bless your heart.
That's funny.
You know what? You tried so hard. I'm so proud of that effort.
And then Rolf would probably come in and just like translate it and be like, what she really means is double barrel.
Right.
All right. Most athletic. I like that choice, Tommy.
I think that, they're very sneaky. I also, this is just kind of outside of like other sports, and Twania Falk-Kodolinski, who's on like the Swedish team, she's always come across as someone like it doesn't matter what sport it will be, she will compete like a honey badger. But let me look at the men. Is there any like sneaky like high level player?
I was trying to look. I think Alex Vigneault's played hockey before. He's on the
you're
team
right.
with a couple guys.
Some high level soccer.
What about the team with Tudor?
Oh, yeah, they're young enough to where like they can just.
I was thinking that,
resilient, because they got Jack Farlow on the team.
But also, did they focus only on that one sport? Right?
Yeah.
Like we want the multi-sport athletes. I feel like maybe like Wozlowski, Gonzalez, and Clements. You know, you get some of the European flavor, some soccer.
All right. Next one. The last one. This is the last one.
Yep.
Okay. Party animal. Most likely to win the after party.
Everybody's face.
I think, how do you not go again? Not to bring them up again, but how do you not go with Vellner, Hopper, and Adler?
I think Hopper and Adler wouldn't like Vellner would.
They're going home for an early bedtime.
Vellner would have to carry that team at the after
party.
Party.
Okay.
Yeah. This is where I'm thinking. Oof. Let me kind of go.
I mean, maybe you got to look at some Europeans here. They can throw down.
Yeah. Oh, if there's any,
with Alex
the Aussies.
The Aussies for sure.
The Aussies always.
I don't see a big Aussie.
I don't think there is. I mean, if you had like Newberry and Porter.
Oh my God! Yeah, no question.
I don't know.
Damn, that sucks. I wish there was like a full like heavy Aussie team. Yeah. If that's the case, I'm going to go like, maybe someone from Latin America. Someone going to cut loose.
Oh, Guimaeros.
Yeah, or even like
I said Alex Smith. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think he'd have a good time.
I think he wants to have a good time.
All right. I don't know. I'm never at the after party long enough to see who really gets
shuns asleep.
I'm like 9:30. Ooh, Matlock's
the notable
on.
people on this roster are like the ones that I think about a couple of years ago at the after party. They aren't on this list.
I don't know. I feel like on the
memorable
women,
dance moves in my head.
I feel like the Allie Weiss, like Laws Stallwood, like some of the Invictus girls, I think they would be sneaky on the winning the after party there.
Yeah, what about Medeiros' crew? See, because here's the thing I think about Justin. He brings the entourage. They like a good time. Great people. They like to have a good time.
That depends if his boy Noah shows up, who from the trailer park in Madison that we all stayed with.
Oh man. Oh yeah. They were. Thank God for them, huh? All right. We want to settle on anybody here, or we just want to throw these out and let people kind of decide who they think?
I think that like that Laws Stallwood team.
I think collectively that team, you're correct, because I was like,
who's on that team?
I know my girl DB likes to have a good time, but I don't know that she's going to get Emma Lawson and Shelby Neal to rally with her at that level.
Yep. Allie Weiss, Lauren Stallwood, and Sydney Smith.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll accept it. But all right. So now veering into kind of just more serious territory. What do you think? Like, what are some top storylines that you guys are going to be watching this event? We'll talk about the individuals next week as we get closer, but Lauren, you're going to be there. Like what are you really going to be looking at, whether it's competition focused, whether it's atmosphere, anything?
Yeah. For me, it's the teams, it's the specific combination. So I'm really excited to see the daughters. That's going to be like a huge highlight, just because they've been in the space since pretty much the beginning. I mean, it's a long time since we haven't had a daughter compete at the highest level. So having the three of them on a team, I think is great. And also I'm really excited to see Luca's team. So he's on a team with Harry Lightfoot and Moritz Fiebig. So I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing the three of them.
For sure. I think beyond just any individual athlete storylines, for me, like the elite teams with these trios, it really kind of is what like high level competition at Wodapalooza is about. Like that, if I think about the spirit of Wodapalooza and the memories that I have of like, first going to watch and scout for when we were at HQ and like watching talent and people up and comers, but also just like the uniqueness of that competition and what the type of energy that comes to the floor when those teams of three get on. It's just different.
Yeah.
And the athletes bring it there in a way that you don't get to see very often in other formats, coupled with the fact that this is a new venue for Wodapalooza being on the beach. Like, I won't get to be there in person. Obviously Lauren will be there and we'll be, I'll be supporting from afar, but really kind of gauging the temperature of the competition. Does it still feel like the celebration? Does the atmosphere now pour into that and elevate that teams of three competition a little bit more? And are athletes out there having fun the same way that they used to, right? Like, it's, I use this example for one of the years I was scouting, right? Like there was a year, I think the first year that it was the Panchicks versus the Smiths, all three Smith brothers versus all three Panchicks. And they were doing a lifting event on Bayside, and it was a max snatch event. And it was like coming down to the wire. And I think Scott hit 285. And this is before Saxon and Spencer had qualified. So this was maybe somewhere around 2017, 2016. And you could feel there was like this vibe of once Scott hit 285, everyone looked around and both of the twins were like, screw it, let's go for it. And everybody just like, yeah. And you see like the next, like one of them hit it, and then the third one steps up, and it was just like this really cool moment that captures kind of like the essence of that competition of like, hey, we're here, let's shoot for the moon, let's have some fun doing it too, in a way that like seeing three brothers all hit 285 back to back to back, you just don't get that. Like that's what those moments are built out of. And that's really what I hope that they continue with with this new venue.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how there were so many iconic settings at Bayfront Park. You know, you had the backdrop of the city when you were in the main arena, then you had a Bayside, and that was awesome. How what's going to take the place of that, if anything, at this new venue? How's it going to look being on the beach, and what's the vibe going to be? But I think more importantly, and I'd say this too if we were even talking about the individuals. For me, at least, I want to see what the reaction is from the people. I won't be there, but Lauren, you're going to be on site, so this is something that you'll be able to talk to. But like, what's the mood on site? What are what's the anticipation for the season coming up? And then what do the numbers look like with people tuning in online to watch this? Like what's that going to be? Is like the appetite still there? Because usually, the buzz is around this time of year. Season's getting ready to start. First big competition. Here we go. And you can kind of feel that energy starting to ramp up. Will it be the same thing this year? Because I think that's going to tell us a lot about what we can expect as we head into the Open. Because we're only now a month and a half away from that. So yeah, that's what I'll be keeping an eye on. And looking forward to seeing the competition. And like I said, we'll break down the individuals, take a little more serious look at that next week. But we just thought we'd have a little fun with the teams because that is, while it is competitive, it is more, I guess, I don't know if lighthearted is the word, or phrase. But
more room for fun.
More room for fun. Exactly. It doesn't matter as much. But okay. I'll say this. Look, community support. Obviously, the fires. We're still dealing with that down in Los Angeles. A lot of people have been affected. There've been some people on across the social media who have put out some places that need help, ways you can help. Red Cross, if you go there, they have ways you can donate. But if you can do anything, just help, just try. I heard someone talking about today on a podcast, like, it's great to call and say, hey, how are you doing? But what's even more effective is you just start helping, just do something. So there's a lot of people down there that have been affected, and it's been pretty awful. So just want to help them out however we can. So yeah. And if anybody has any sort of like CrossFit centric things that they want to get the word out on, please send them to us, because we would love to amplify that message. All right. Before we close out, PRs, no reps. Any no reps to hand out this week? Or are we feeling more of a PR mood?
Lauren, do you have any no reps?
I got a no rep if you don't, Tommy. Go ahead, Lauren.
Go, no. Go ahead.
If
Sean.
Tommy's not, I'm going to no rep the Dallas Cowboys. What are you doing? Like, get rid of your coach or don't. Don't wait a week after all the candidates are the top candidates that you can interview have already been interviewed, and now you can't interview them because you waited. What is Jared doing, Tommy? In the blazes.
I mean, that sentence is basically what's been running through Cowboys fans' heads for the last decade.
I'm mad for you.
I know.
And Chase Ingram, our good friend, who's a big Cowboys fan. Like, I want to see you guys be happy.
I know. I feel you're in the middle of it, Sean. You get the weekly text from me and Chase ping ponging back our soggy like sorrows about the Cowboys every week. Yeah.
Come on. And then Dion is the guy?
No, please. This is what I'll tell you, not to get too far off. I'll tell you why he won't hire Dion. Is because Dion will be the bigger draw than old Jera would once the game's over.
I think you're
right. When the game's over and all the reporters go to the locker room, old Jera wants them to come to him first, and they would go to primetime. And that's why he fired Jimmy Johnson back in the day. But
his hair was nicer too. Lauren, okay, so PRs, you got PRs you want to – it's getting late for Lauren. She's really nice. Like, accommodating our schedules and recording at 11:30 at night Eastern.
I'm struggling to think of a PR and no rep in this moment.
All right. You know what? I'm going to just PR the firefighters and all the first responders down in LA.
That's a big one.
Specifically, like, have you seen the videos of these, like, I think they're DC-10s, these modified planes that fly like 10 feet off the ground. And they drop all this stuff on the.
That's really cool.
My God, who are these people? Heroes.
That's a good PR, because those videos of them scooping up the water and and then also like whipping them in, like hitting. There was a video of one of the fire, like the fire line, the line of fire, I guess I should say, was almost like kind of in a curvature shape. And the pilot like basically whipped it away that like it matched it perfectly and put it all out.
Wow.
I was like,
that's cool.
I saw
dang.
one that was, it was, I guess in the moment, it was like a moment of levity and like celebrating how cool this thing was. But I think it was a helicopter that dropped something like right in the nick of time on a fire to put it out. And someone had dubbed the home run call of Freddie Freeman from, I think it was game 1 of the World Series, the home run that he hit to walk
that's so
over
cool.
that, and coincided with the water dropping. So I thought that was a good way of like using sports to sort of show you how cool it is, what these people are able to do. So, first responders, cops, and firefighters down there, because police are, they sometimes don't get the due that they deserve, because they're down there helping with evacuations, trying to keep people safe and all that stuff. So thank you for everything that you guys are doing down there.
Oh, I do have a no rep. I have a no rep that do you see? I had this written down. I forgot about it. That Eagles guy that was berating that.
Oh, I did hear about this idiot
Packers woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see
no rep
that.
to that guy,
What
because
a dirtbag.
Yeah.
He's it's strange because usually Philadelphia fans are very well behaved.
Yeah.
I kid.
Said no one ever.
Somebody get Tim Paulson on the line. Ask him, hey, yo, is this your boy? Yeah, no, but then that guy ultimately got fired from his job.
I mean, it just goes to show you can't act like you don't do that in public.
Don't be an ass.
No, you're going to pay for it nowadays. Like someone's going to put it on social media. It's, come on, you got to know better than that. I don't care. I mean, yeah. Sorry. Don't be a jerk. There's consequences.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm not, I wish one of the consequences is that they don't advance past this round, but not super optimistic about the matchup this weekend. But hey, house money. My team wasn't even supposed to make the playoffs, and they had a great game Monday night. So they gave me something to cheer about, but I think it might be coming to an end. But anyway.
Super wild card weekend.
Never know. All right. Lauren, where are you going this weekend? You got big plans, right?
You're
going to Vegas. You talk about right?
For Vegas.
Yeah, mention that again at the beginning of the show. I feel
like SHOT Show. Yeah.
Awesome. Have fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. Play some bets for
Tommy.
Tommy.
To Miami from there.
There you go. You're gonna have yourself.
Are you staying on the Strip?
I am staying at the Venetian.
Ooh, I love the Venetian. All suites in the hotel, so you get like the
really.
Yeah, all of their rooms have like they basically like where the beds are, and then it drops down and there's like a little living room area. They're very nice.
Well, I can't wait to podcast with you guys from the Venetian.
Sweet, yeah. Put the city in the background. Open the curtains.
Oh and yeah, we'll have ourselves a time.
All right.
Are you a buffet gal?
Who's not?
Is there anybody who's who's not a buffet girl?
Wicked Spoon at the Cosmopolitan, Bachnal at the
My God, you know all
Caesars.
the places.
Oh, I got Vegas in my back pocket, right. Baby. I
just remember Nine Fine Irishmen.
Send me your list, music. Tommy.
All right,
I got you. Nine Fine Irishmen over by
they had the most kick-ass Irish band. They were playing everything. It was awesome. Like Flogging Molly tunes and Dropkick Murphys. It's fantastic.
Amazing.
Okay, that is it for today. I want to thank our sponsors, Reebok. Check out the new Nano X5. That drops January 24th. Big thanks to Thirdzy. As always, thirdzy.com/TEF. You will save 20%. Next week, we will break down the individuals that are participating and competing in Miami for Wodapalooza. Talk more about, I'm sure, all the news that's going to be coming out here as we get closer to the official start of the game season. Week 1 of the Open, February 27th, right? That's when that starts. Last day, my son's 5th birthday. We're going to be doing
dude, that's crazy.
I know.
I know. How do you get that old?
I barely remember him being a baby. Like I see pictures. I'm like, when did that happen? It was only 5 years ago. It goes fast.
It's funny. I imagine because I wasn't down in the trenches with that. Like I have vivid memories of Max being just like a little squish, right? Like this little bobblehead, like squish. And now knowing what I have experienced now, like credit to you, man. The way you managed our schedule back then.
It's nuts, huh? You get it. You just figured out it works. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening. And thanks again to our sponsors, Reebok and Thirdzy. Please check them out. That's going to do it for today. For Lauren Khalil, Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. Take care of each other. Be better. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Like a kiss at the start of a first date. If it's good, I don't want to wait.